Kriega are probably the best known motorcycle luggage manufacturer in the UK. They're a British brand and you'd find their stuff in pretty much every motorcycle shop up and down the country because what they do is so good. They've been around for donkey's years, all their bags come with a 10-year guarantee, and I myself have had their R25 for over 15 years and it still performs absolutely perfectly. So if you want to spend your money on something you know is going to last, Kriega are a really easy place to spend that money. So we have 3 new products for 2020 to show you, which is fantastic because it has been a while since we saw something new from them. Here is the Max 28. This is one of the 3 new items, and this is the flagship new model from them. It actually sits at the top of their price spectrum, so this is £199, so it's not cheap, but it's their most fully functioning and it's very much targeted at the needs of the urban rider. So it sits at £5 more than their R35. The carrying capacity for this though is 22 to 28 litres, so it's got an expandable element to it, which we'll go through in a moment, and that's really so that it can incorporate a helmet. I think that the idea here is that they've refined the aesthetics and incorporated the function into those aesthetics to make it a bag that tones in a bit more neatly, I would say, with a lot of the bikes that our customers would be riding. So their traditional aesthetic is a little bit more sporty stroke adventure-y. Here it tones it down and makes it something just a little bit more classic, and I think it works really well. It has that same kind of overlay flap that you'll be familiar with if you know their range with the messenger bag, and it works to really good effect. Here it has a practical element in that because it's over the top of the zip section to the main compartment, it therefore stops water getting in through that weak point to the bag. So it definitely has a practicality purpose to it as well. In terms of the way that the bag sits on your shoulders, it's incredibly comfortable. So Kriega have this patented Quadloc system, and one thing that's interesting to note is that here on the Max 28, we have the Quadloc-Lite system. So this is what you find in everything up to the R20 bag. And this is essentially for the sort of lighter carrying loads. It's a little bit neater. The Quadloc system, so not the Lite, but the Quadloc system is what you find on the R25, the R30 and the R35. And that essentially has a double lock harness on the front. There's 2 things to that. First of all, it doesn't look particularly classic in the same way that the back of this bag does. So that would be kind of competing aesthetics. But also I think that there is an element with this bag that it is designed to have, although a 28 litre carrying capacity, perhaps a lighter load in it. It's an urban riding bag primarily, and therefore you're going to be taking stuff to and from the office rather than carrying lots of heavy accessories like you might in the R30 or the R35. In their imagery, they show that a helmet can fit into the main compartment of this bag. Therefore, it has a large capacity, but it's not necessarily been designed to carry 30 litres of really heavy goods, if you follow me. I think having the Quadloc-Lite system works really well and gives the bag that slightly more harmonious look in terms of achieving the goal aesthetically for the urban rider. The Quadloc system, the Quadloc-Lite that we have here, is incredibly comfortable and well engineered. They've used this for years to great effect. The shoulder straps are extremely ergonomic, padded, adjustable as you can see. You have these little dots as well over the harness adjustment points so that you can tailor it exactly to where you want it and also visualize where you're tailoring it to, so that's a really nice feature. The back of the backpack itself, the padded section, is new for this Max 28 and it only exists on this bag, and it is particularly comfortable. It's, in my opinion, the most comfortable backing to any of their bags, and I really like it. So that's all really positive features when it comes to the kind of carrying element of the bag. And if we go around to the actual main compartment of the bag, you're going to see that there is an awful lot to go through. So first of all, we have these 2 straps on the front. This is a really nice, almost rubberized feel to this top section. It has a premium look to it as well. As I said, this is very much, I think, going for that aesthetic. On the underside of this, there is a storage compartment there. So if you wanted it as a document folder, for something that's easily accessible, it's going to be in a waterproof section and also easy to access. You then have this front section here, which is really the kind of document pouch, I suppose, and that zip has this overlay flap going around the top of it just to prevent water getting through. So they describe this as water resistant, and again, having used one of their bags for many years, I haven't ever had a problem with water ingress, and I've ridden in, you know, horrible weather. So this comes open, storage compartment there, again, similar really in capacity and the nature of the thickness to what you get on that overlay flap. Pouch here, pocket here, Velcro pocket here, pen holder, etc. All the kind of standard things that you'd want quick and easy access to in a nice streamlined and organized manner. So that's a nice little box ticked there. And then as you go down into this bit underneath, this is the expandable section here. So we have this zip that runs all the way around. You have to get it around the little buckle points. and that then just expands out. Obviously you can adjust these straps to allow it to expand as much as you want it to. For the moment though, we don't need that, so we're just going to zip it back up. Take all this stuff out, we don't need it now. So inside you have this large main body compartment. There isn't really lots going on in terms of pockets in here, but if you see you've got this standalone flap inside that took us a while to figure out, we'll get to that in a moment. You've also got here an expandable litre sort of feel to it, which is somewhere you can put a hydration bladder. Of course you can store whatever you want, but that's really what it's been designed there for, so it holds that nice and firmly. This is actually a laptop carry pouch. Now this was a slightly interesting thing to discover. This rolls up on itself and it's actually a dry pack. And as you can see, it comes up quite high above the top line where the zip is of the bag. And it actually stops a good 4 inches, I would say, off the bottom. The clever thing about that is most bags, the laptop compartment goes all the way to the bottom. And of course, if you kind of have your laptop in there just on its own unprotected and you drop your bag on the floor, as you generally do when you kind of get it off your shoulder and put it down next to you, it means that that can really cause damage to the bottom of your laptop. Here, by being suspended within the bag, that's not going to happen. So that's a really good point. However, it is, I think, unnecessarily high potentially, because what it means is, although this is listed as taking a 15-inch laptop, I can get my MacBook Pro in there, which is 15 inches, but as far as 15-inch laptops go, that is about as thin as they come. And you have to really push it right down, get every last millimeter out. And then with the roll top compartment, you can literally just about close it. So that was just a little bit frustrating. If it had just been a tiny bit lower, just 1 centimeter lower, there would be no problems there at all. You can definitely get 13-inch laptops in there, no problem. But if you have a 15-inch, and if it is a plastic-bodied, slightly thicker, I would say average 15-inch laptop, you may struggle just a little bit. You can check the dimensions for the maximum size for the laptop over on the product page at Urban Rider. So it lists that there. So if you've got any doubts, do measure your laptop before taking the plunge. But this is a fully waterproof dry bag, which is a nice feature. And of course, the most expensive thing if you are carrying a laptop is likely to be that product within your bag. So it's nice to have something that's a standalone dry pack separated from the rest of it. The bag itself, I would say, is sort of relatively heavy. So it comes in at 1,800 grams, which you definitely notice when you pick up. That's really because there's so much going on, such high quality materials that make it very comfortable, particularly this padded back section. You can feel a lot of the weight is in there. And the way that it handles and carries on your shoulders, I think disperses that weight very nicely. It gives a good shape to the bag as well, having such premium features on it. I like a bag that doesn't look droopy. To me, the R20, for example, does have that slightly sort of droopy look to it. This is a bit squarer. I think it looks really good when it's fully loaded as well. So all in all, I think this is an absolutely fantastic bag. It's going up against some, pretty well-established competition as well in terms of the urban riding segment. But I do think, being a Kriega, it's going to fare particularly well indeed. Whether the price difference is justified if you're just purely looking at carrying capacity from something like an R25, that's up to you. But for me, yes, it is. I think it's really nice, very well engineered, and I would say it's probably the most comfortable bag to wear, fully loaded with around 25 litres in it, out of anything on the market, and it's got a 10-year guarantee. So all in all, a fantastic product. Well done, Kriega. And do stay tuned for some of the reviews of their other new products, which we'll have very shortly. Leave us any questions, comments, feedback in the section below. Let us know what you think, as always, please. And stay tuned for more video reviews of the world's finest riding gear. Thank you. Goodbye.